want to start today by asking you a question, and I want you to be honest.
Okay.
Have you ever had that sensation where you feel like the world is a giant magnet?
Magnet. That's a powerful image.
Yeah, like a huge industrial magnet. And you're just a pile of iron filings. It's pulling at your attention, it's pulling at your energy, your time.
The emails, the news cycle, the family stuff, all of it.
It's all just pulling. But here's the real question. When you feel that pull, what is your gut reaction?
Well, for most people, I think the reaction is to pull back harder, to
Yeah,
work more.
exactly. We think, okay, the world wants a piece of me. I just need to make more pieces.
Hmm.
We think the solution to all that stress is to just do more.
It's this idea that if you just pedal the bike fast enough, you'll eventually break through some barrier and find this magical place called peace.
Yeah, the efficiency trap. You think you can optimize your way to a clear deck.
But the deck never actually clears, does it? The horizon just keeps moving.
It's a carrot on a stick, but the stick is taped to your own forehead. You're never going to catch it.
Right.
But today, we're doing a deep dive into a source that suggests a completely different strategy. One that is, to be honest, kind of terrifying for people like me who love a to-do list.
It's extremely counterintuitive, to say the least.
The source is a piece of writing called The Better Portion, Finding Peace at His Feet. It's from a devotional book, Redeemer of My Story,
And just to set the scene, this book actually goes along with an album of the same name.
which is a really interesting format. The author wrote a 5-day devotional for every single song on the album.
So you get the music, which kind of hits you on that emotional level, and then you get the text, which unpacks the thinking behind the lyrics.
And today we are zeroing in on day 5, which goes with the track At Your Feet. And our mission really is to explore this central argument the author makes,
Which is,
that peace isn't something you achieve by running. It's not a finish line you cross after a marathon of productivity. It's something that happens when you stop.
and that is a really hard sell in our culture. I mean, stopping feels dangerous. It feels like you're falling behind.
It feels like failure. If I'm not moving, I'm dying. It's that shark mentality we've all kind of adopted. But let's start with the title itself, The Better Portion. That phrase feels a little old, doesn't it?
It does, and it's a direct reference to a story in the Bible. It's from Luke chapter 10, verse 42. The author quotes it right at the top.
What's the quote?
But one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her.
Okay, so let's unpack that story a little because not everyone might remember Mary and Martha.
Right, and the context is everything. So you have two sisters, Mary and Martha, and Jesus comes to visit their home. Martha is doing what any good host would do.
She's running around cooking, cleaning, making sure everything is perfect.
She's the CEO of the household. She's maximizing productivity.
She is me. She is every single person multitasking while listening to this right now. She's getting things done.
Absolutely. The hero of the modern workplace. But then there's Mary. And Mary is just sitting at Jesus' feet, just listening.
And Martha gets frustrated. Which, I get it. I would be too if I'm sweating over a hot stove. My sister's just chilling in the living room.
It's a valid frustration,
Right.
right? But the response from Jesus is what matters. The text points out he doesn't scold her for working.
No.
No, he points out that she's worried and upset about many things. The issue isn't the work, it's her internal state. And he says Mary has chosen the better portion.
So it's a choice between good and better, not good and bad.
Precisely, and that's where the tension is. The good is the doing. It's responsible, it's active. But the text argues there's something better.
The author says there comes a moment when you realize peace isn't found by doing more, but by choosing differently.
Choosing differently. That implies we have some agency here.
Yeah, because sometimes it feels like the busyness chooses me.
We all feel like victims of our own schedule sometimes. But the text frames this better portion not as a reward for when the work is done, but as a deliberate choice you make instead of doing more.
And the invitation it mentions is specific. It's, come and stay near me.
Notice the verb there, stay. It's about proximity, a position. The author really emphasizes that this better portion is a physical location, at his feet. It's a posture.
But let's be real for a second. Stopping is the hardest thing in the world. When I'm moving, I feel productive, I feel valuable. If I sit still, the silence gets really loud.
Because we've equated motion with worth. If I'm spinning, I'm valid. This text is trying to completely dismantle that equation. It's saying the most productive thing you can do for your soul isn't an action item at all.
It's a positioning item.
Exactly. It's not about what you do, but where you are. And the text uses the song's lyrics to explain how this actually works.
Okay, let's get into those lyrics. Devotional quotes. At your feet, I choose the better portion. At your feet, my heart becomes devotion.
My heart becomes devotion. Let's just pause on that for a second. How do you normally think of the word devotion?
I mean, I think of it as grit. Like I am devoted to my job. It implies effort. I'm white-knuckling my way through something out of discipline.
Right. We see devotion as an output, something we manufacture with willpower. I will be devoted today if it kills me.
Yeah.
But the source offers a completely different definition. It says, and I'm quoting here, "At his feet, devotion grows quietly, not through pressure or perfection, but through presence."
Not through pressure. I mean, wow. We run our entire lives on pressure. Pressure to perform, to provide, to be a good person.
And we think that pressure is the fuel. We think if we turn off the pressure, the whole engine just dies.
Right.
But the author suggests it's more of a biological model, not a mechanical one. Think about a houseplant. You don't stand over it and scream, "Grow, be devoted to growth."
I need to see a 10% increase in leaf surface area by Q3.
Exactly. It's absurd. The plant grows because of what?
Light, water, soil.
Presence. It just sits in the presence of the sun and growth happens to it. That's the shift. Demotion isn't something you squeeze out of yourself. It's a byproduct of being in the right place.
So the lyrics continue. Every treasure now I bring, every moment offering. It seems like the result of this passive sitting, is that you actually do end up giving something back.
Yes, but the order of operations is absolutely critical. The text says your life becomes an offering, not because you're trying harder to give, but because your heart has learned where it belongs.
Okay, I get the philosophy. But I have to play skeptic for a minute. I have to be the voice of the person who's looking at a sink full of dishes or an inbox with 400 messages.
Please do. Bring the skepticism.
This all sounds beautiful, but isn't it a little escapist? Sorry, can't finish that report. I'm choosing the better portion today. Sorry, kids, no dinner. Dad's engaging in presents. Is it just a spiritual bypass for laziness?
It's the classic critique, right? I'm too holy to do the laundry.
Exactly. My vibration is too high for chores.
Well, the source actually anticipates that. The author writes very explicitly, choosing the better portion isn't about escaping responsibility. It's about living from the right place.
Living from the right place. Okay, what does that mean, practically?
It's about the internal architecture of your life. The text says that when you begin at his feet, when you prioritize that connection, something happens to the chaos. It says everything else falls into order.
Falls into order. It doesn't say disappears.
No. The laundry is still there, the emails are still waiting. But it says, burdens loosen, worries soften. What once felt heavy begins to lift.
I'm really caught by that phrase, burdens loosen.
Yeah.
It suggests the weight of a task isn't fixed. Like the task itself is neutral, but the weight I feel from it depends on my internal state.
Precisely. Think about it. Have you ever had a day where you're in a great headspace and a hard problem at work feels like a fun puzzle?
Yeah, for sure.
And then another day you're drained and just dropping a pen on the floor feels like a complete catastrophe.
Oh, absolutely. The pen drops and I'm like, well, that's it. Civilization is over.
That's the difference. The gravity of your life changes based on where you are. The source cites the lyric. Every burden melts away. Every worry fades in grace.
So it's not about ignoring the duty. It's about stripping the anxiety off of the duty.
Yes, internal ordering before external ordering.
I want to pivot to the author for a second, because whenever I read advice like this, sit still and find peace, I picture someone in linen pants, living in a yurt, who has no idea what a mortgage is.
It's easy to dismiss it as a luxury item. Must be nice, but I live in the real world.
Exactly. But the text gives us some backstory on when this song was written. And it wasn't on some spa retreat.
No, it was not. The author says this song came out of a season that was, in her words, full, heavy, and demanding.
Full, heavy, and demanding. That's the trifecta of modern life.
Right. She wasn't writing from a place of calm. She was writing from the trenches.
Yeah.
And she shares this realization that I think is so piercing. She says, I realized how easily I could stay busy without being present.
Oof. Busy without being present. That hits a nerve. It's that autopilot mode. You're physically there, but nobody's home.
We're functioning, but you aren't connecting. And the author admits that breaking out of this wasn't easy. It wasn't a one-and-done decision.
She says sitting with Jesus was a choice she had to make again and again.
Yeah.
I appreciate that honesty. It's not like you just decide once and you're a peaceful person forever.
It's a daily discipline of stopping. She says she had to actively choose to stop doing everything, to listen, and to let rest shape how I lived.
Rest shape how I lived. That is such a flipped script. Usually, work shapes how we live. Work is the container, and rest is just the little bits we pour into the
We
cracks.
treat rest as recovery, right? Work until you break, then rest just enough so you can get back to work. She's saying rest is the foundation. You build your life on top of the rest.
Which leads to what I think is the core idea of this whole deep dive. The text sums it up with a contrast between two words: achieving versus receiving.
This is the whole mechanism. The text says, "At your feet is my reminder that peace isn't something I achieve, it's something I receive."
We need to just sit with that for a second. We live in an achievement culture. We achieve good grades. We achieve promotions. We naturally think peace is just another thing to achieve.
Another merit badge.
Right. We think if I meditate for 20 minutes and I journal and I practice gratitude and I volunteer, then finally I will have earned the right to feel peaceful.
We want to buy it, because if I buy it, I own it. If I earn it, I control it.
Exactly. But the text says, no, it's a gift. You cannot earn a gift, you can only receive it. And to receive something, what do you have to do?
You have to have open hands. You can't be clutching a bunch of other stuff.
And you have to be present. You have to be in the right position to receive. That is what the better portion is. It's the receiving position.
And what does that do to your lifestyle if you stop trying to hustle for your own peace?
The author describes the change. She says she's not rushing, not proving.
Not proving? Wow. How much of our busyness is just performance art? Just trying to prove we're necessary? A huge amount. If your worth is tied to your output, you are on a treadmill that never, ever stops. You're constantly proving your case to the world. Look at me. I did things today. I matter.
But if peace is just receive.
Then you can stop the trial. You can stop proving. You can just stay close. The text says she's staying close to the one who steadies my heart.
Steadies my heart. That is the feeling we're all chasing, isn't it? Steadiness. Not even happiness, that's fleeting. But
Yeah.
steadiness, that feeling of being a ship with a deep keel so the waves can hit but you don't capsize.
That's it exactly. And the text describes this place at his feet as the place that lasts, the place that restores, and crucially, the place that steadies you for whatever comes next.
Whatever comes next, because something is always coming next. The magnet is always going to turn back on.
Always. The demands don't just vanish, but if you're steadied, you can handle what comes next without being completely consumed by it.
Okay, so we've looked at the definition, the lyrics, the backstory, and this huge shift from achieving to receiving. But we can't just leave it as a nice theory. The source ends with a challenge.
It does, a direct question. It asks, what would it look like to intentionally choose the better portion today?
Today. Not next week when things calm down. Because let's be honest, things never calm down.
Never. And the specific instruction is, make space to sit with Jesus and let your heart rest in his presence.
Make space. It sounds so simple, but making space might be the hardest creative act in modern life. Space doesn't just happen. Any vacuum just fills up instantly.
It requires saying no. To choose the better portion means you have to reject the lesser portion. Maybe that's saying no to frantic cleaning for 10 minutes or no to doom scrolling.
It's prioritizing the input over the output.
That's a great way to put it. Choosing to be filled before you try to pour out.
And the source mentions that if this idea resonates, there are ways to go deeper.
Yeah, listening to the full song at your feet, or the whole album. And of course, there's the full devotional book itself.
It's interesting how music plays a role here. You can argue with the philosophical concept, but a melody, a song about laying down burdens, it kind of bypasses the security guards in your brain.
It creates the very space the text is talking about. It invites you into that posture of listening.
So as we wrap up, I'm still stuck on that distinction between pressure and presence. It really feels like the key to the whole thing.
It is the fulcrum of the argument. You can build a life on pressure, or you can build a life on presence.
So here's the thought I want to leave with you, the listener, to mull over. We've talked about how peace is something you receive, not achieve. So I want you to look at your own stress levels, the things that keep you up at 3 a.m.
And ask yourself this hard question. How much of that stress is actually self-imposed? How much of it comes from you trying to earn a quiet mind?
How much of your exhaustion is just you trying to buy peace with the currency of your own effort?
If peace is a gift waiting for you at the feet, are you just too busy running around trying to build it yourself to simply sit down and open it?
That's the question. Are you trying to manufacture what can only be received? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.